I just want to say hello to all of you, to encourage those of you who are connected. I see Moses, I see Nina. Yeah, you know, I really see people that are joining us to bring a new realization for what we need, because generally it appears as if there are too many conservatives who consider that technology is only internet enabled, and where you do not have internet, things cannot happen. And while that could be very myopic, I believe that technology provides multiple solutions, those that can respond to the challenges that we know in Africa, the issue of connectivity being one of them, but also the issue of you know, other weak infrastructure like energy. When I met Sidiki sometime back in Rwanda, we were looking at a digital library from the perspective of not needing connectivity, but also possibilities of connecting with other energy sources. So I believe, for me, this is the nucleus of what is driving how we move. Then, of course, I saw a presentation by Elimu, you know, and I said to my guys, oh, I've seen what I really wanted. And even though Elimu has not gone as far as we are looking right now, the seed also is planted. And I'm saying, coming together, how can we make it happen? And leveraging where we are at to where we want to go, and guided by the principle of leaving no one behind. And if that is possible, then we have an answer to not only COVID-19 affected learners, but out of school learners and out of school children. And what is this perspective? This perspective is, I'm talking to the partnership with UNHCR earlier on. You know, they called it a local cloud. We are looking at creating an intranet resource center. We can combine the two. It makes sense so that people understand that when you say cloud, it's not only the one that is intranet driven. There's also the cloud that is internet driven, but there's the cloud that is intranet, and there can be even extranet. Okay, so I will leave you with the thinking of solving an issue. One is, well, with internet, we want to have the cloud at the continental level to create a hub, or what I want to even use in layman's language, a warehouse. A warehouse that will have the solutions that are required to nourish the national hubs. And again, at the national level, we can look at a hub that is really internet kind of base. But then the idea is not to stop at only those who have internet access. But how do we ensure that same content can go right down to the classroom? How can we ensure that that same content can reach those who are at home for purposes of pandemics where schools are shut down? How can we also begin to imagine a situation where from these resources, we can also be looking at skills development. We can be looking at, like right now, the African Union said to me, Anne, what do we do to really train massively our health sector personnel, the frontline workers? And immediately, without even going into depth, I said, well, the answer is there, technology. But this is technology that will not be only be the costly one that depends on internet, but one which we can customize so that it will cost less. Of course, the challenge is, how do we engage the telecommunications providers? And this is the game changer. And to do that and do it effectively, we also need the buy-in of government. And we need to really see, because the government must be able to give some tax holidays. So for these people who want to also contribute their own social responsibilities to responding to the need. So in short, this is it. As I reflected on what do we offer in terms of let me use the jargon that you are very familiar with, Siddiqui. It's been a movement, and I'm going to come back to you to really get me connected to, I've forgotten the organizers of the e-learning Africa, you know, but they had really got very passionately involved with me to join them in their meeting in Abuja, Cote d'Ivoire, but I wasn't able to do it because of the way that we are now partitioned in the region. When I was in Dakar, I could move from south to north and east to west and back and forth. But now we have 5 regional offices. So I told them, no, I don't want to really usurp the responsibility of my colleague in West Africa. So I didn't join them this time, but I need to connect with them because the idea we are looking at is Connect Africa using multiple solutions. I will leave you with that to say, Seydou has been also working with me in looking at the steps that we should take. So I have I put together a very quick schema of how do we move from point A to point Z, from the continental down to the national to the classroom. What I'm expecting from this meeting, you should be able to say, what is the unit cost of one local cloud? Given that every country has got some access, from ranging from maybe 2% to 60%, whatever the case. So a cloud at the national hub is possible using internet. But to penetrate those who are left behind, we need to have another type of solution. And that is the solution I want you to put on the table exhaustively and give an idea of how much would it cost, you know, and we take it from there. I think Nina will help us because they have already started, but it can be taken to another level. I'm sorry I cannot stay with you.
Are we all cut, or am I the one?
Well, I can hear also.
Okay.
It looks like Anna is in. She's cut, eh?
Let's cut down. Okay. Shoot.
So
perfect timing, yes.
Yeah, she's cut.
Yeah, she seems to be gone. All right. Do we have them?
No, let's give her a few minutes and see if she comes back.
Okay, she's gone now.
Awol, Saidu, Gideon.
I think we can start with the introductions.
I think Anna and Jalo have a same problem because they say in the same vicinity. Maybe
okay.
there was a power problem, so that's why they are all out. But I will just try and find them back.
Anyway, thank God. I think she got through the most of what she wanted to say because she was on her way out.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew, for that. Thank you, colleagues, for joining us. Maybe as we wait for them to reconnect and also Andrew to catch up with them, we can start with brief introductions for all of us from where we are from, and what we do in the organization. So I can start with Nina, Siddiqui, then we come back. We go to UNICEF, then UNESCO.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nina Chung. I'm the founder and president of Elimu. We're a Canadian-based charitable organization working in Kenya. And here in Kenya, we're based in Malindi in Coast Province. And I'm sitting in the middle of the Elimu Resource Center, which we established in 2016. And that's the kind of model of the topic that we're going to be talking about today from our side. Nice to meet you all.
Hi everyone, I'm Moses Rono from UNICEF Kenya. I'm a Technology for Development Officer. I support implementation of technology and innovations across our programs. My colleague Khalid, our IT manager, will be joining us later. Over.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sidiki Traore. I am the president and founder of Distance Education for Africa. And we would like to talk about, our Innovation and Technology Center, which we provide, we want to propose today. Thank you.
So we can start with Seidu from UNESCO.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. You are welcome. I was with you, but I had a power cut, and that's why I lost you when Anne was speaking. Actually, I was with you since then. This is Saidu Jallo. I'm the education chief for the UNESCO Regional Office for Eastern Africa. And yeah, I think we'll discuss more as we go on. So I'll just hand over to the next UNESCO colleague to introduce himself. Over to you, Gideon, the next person.
So the next person we have Awol, we have Virginia, we have Andrew. So we can take Awol. I think Awol is also disconnected. So Virginia.
Good afternoon, Virginia Muma, working with UNESCO, based here in Nairobi. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew?
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew, ICT Focal Point, UNESCO Regional Office for Eastern Africa, Nairobi. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I see Khaled has joined us. Khaled, please introduce yourself.
Hi, first of all, sorry, I'm being late. Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Khaled Mahmoud. I'm the ICT manager for UNICEF Regional Office as well as for the country office. Over. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Gideon Mora from UNESCO Regional Office for Eastern Africa. I'll be the one moderating this meeting. And just to pick up from where Anne left. The purpose of this meeting is to look at to exploit the different solutions and opportunities to ensure no one is left behind. Okay, so as I was saying, the purpose is to exploit the different solutions and opportunities to ensure no learner is left behind through access to inclusive and equitable quality education using ICTs. And in this particular meeting, we are looking at different technological solutions in low resource and low tech environments across Kenya, and which can now be replicated to all over the continent. So thank you very much for being with us. Here we have two organizations who provide such solutions, and I would like us to hear from them the different solutions they provide, and focusing on the different elements Anne has told us. She has a broad vision of having different hubs within the continent where everybody, be students in school, be people out of school, be people who are looking for skills, be teachers and every other person who can have access to materials, who can have access to certification, who can have access to different curricula, also research papers and the likes. So for within these hubs, as they're going from the regional to also national and also local hubs, we'll be talking about local resource centers, which will be communicating through offline modes, so through private networks, intranet networks, and which can act as satellites to remote communities. With a few words, I would like to start with DE Africa to tell us what they do, and so that we can see what the possibilities of incorporating this in the local scene. So over to you, Siddiqui.
Okay. Well, Myra, thank you very much. Thank you, UNESCO. My name is Siddiqui Traore. I'm the president and founder of Distance Education for Africa. We are proposing, I think I sent a PowerPoint about what we are proposing, which would really make change in education and information access in Africa. We are proposing to build a DE Africa Innovation and Technology Center, which will consist of to start, with 3 things. If you look at the PowerPoint I have sent, the first one is called Rachel Library. So the Rachel Library, Rachel is an acronym. It stands for Remote Access Community Hotspot for Education and Learning. And as you could see here, this is a powerful device which has millions of books, lessons, classroom material. It's open source. And it has 2 functions primarily. Not only it's a digital library, but it's a teaching tool for teachers. So instead of even creating, building a school, this device, you turn it on, 50 people could connect to this one and download thousands of material. There are information about doctors. Where there is no doctors, it has reference books, it has videos, and you name it. So this is one of the powerful devices, which all you need is a cell phone and any kind of device, a computer, a laptop, to access to this information. So it's a powerful device which we are proposing. It doesn't need any internet connection. It has a Wi-Fi, which anybody could, if you're around, you could see. I think if you look at the picture on the left, one of the great things about this one, even a mother.
And at the beginning, I told you that there's some things that we can do in order to reduce transmission. So let's talk about those public health measures. These measures should be done in combination.
I'm sorry?
Hello, Awol, could you please mute your mic? Or Andrew, can you mute him? Back to you, Siddiqui.
I did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Thank you, Andrew. Back to you, Siddiqui.
Oh, okay. All right, sir. So I was saying that this device, it has 2 functions. It's a teaching tool. It helps teachers. I think we provided about 17 of these to UNESCO office, and they are distributing all over. And we went to Seychelles Island together, and we gave one to the university. So not only primary school can use this, university can use this as well, because this is intended for where there is no internet connection. But it has a function, it could be connected to internet as well. So that's a powerful device which we are proposing. Then next to it, it's called Raspberry. Raspberry is an incredible, powerful, it's just a mini computer which you put in your pocket. And with this one, you don't need also any internet connection. You just need a TV to connect. And it teaches kids, programming skills. So this one, you could connect this to any device. This could be used for robotics programming, drone. It could be used, for weather station. It's a powerful small device and very, we call it low cost solution for, low cost solution. So that's the Raspberry Pi. And the third one is on the left called Kodi. Kodi is, it's a community entertainment, but we call it edutainment because it has in education and entertainment as well. It has documentary for schools, but you could watch endless movies. The only problem with Kodi, it requires fast internet. So that's why we're not focusing on that much. So those are the three small device, with less than, with almost $1,000, you could get this to create a technology center with a TV. When I presented this to UNESCO last year, I went with a solar panel, a small solar panel, a TV, and a keyboard. And, I show UNESCO that this device plus the TV, you put them under your arm, you walk. So I walk with an entire technology center, very affordable, very cheap, which we could really replicate in many areas. So that's what we are proposing to the team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sidiki, for your presentation. Maybe I can give the floor to members to if you have any questions or comments before we go to the next presenter.
Sorry, go ahead.
So this is Nina. I was just going to jump in and say we've also had some experience with the Rachel, and it's a wonderful solution to having. It's totally compact, totally mobile. Doesn't need it's the battery operated. The signal is within it. It's an excellent little solution, and it's they've the latest iteration of it. They've made it into a very, very durable solution. So the image that you've just given us, CD, of basically picking everything up and walking across Africa with a library, a school, a training center, is a wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nina, for your comment. I can see two hands up. We have Khaled and Rono. So we can start off with Khaled and Rono. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. So maybe first of all, congratulations. It looks really effective and perhaps fit for purpose if we can find the right use case. Couple of questions the Rachel device itself, the content is preloaded, and then whether you can add, how do you control the version? Like you keep on adding stuff. So the content management part, how does it work? And then I believe the device itself has a Wi-Fi access point. The third one is the Kodi and then the Raspberry Pi. You are making an ecosystem, but probably those are not integral part of the library. Those are kind of like nice to have if somebody wants to learn some computer coding and somebody wants to stream some videos. Am I right? So there are three questions in there. If there are too many, please remind me which one you forgot. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your question. I guess, I'm sorry, Gideon, right?
Yes, I think Rono, before you come in, we could let Siddiqui respond, then we come to your question. Or Siddiqui, do you prefer Rono to ask his question, then you can answer all of them together?
I could quickly answer because I know you guys have the answer of all the questions, but I could answer quickly the three questions. The first question, the content. Yeah, the content, you ask an incredible question. You know, teachers could add their own content. They could even delete the entire content if they want. So that's the beauty about this. So that was your first question. Yes, it has a Wi-Fi. It has Wi-Fi, so you could connect. You know, even from a school, you could go up to the street. You would see the signal. So it goes very far. The signal goes very far. In terms of content, a teacher could just assign homework to student. They could just connect and download and do research. But a teacher also could add his own content to this device. That's the beauty about this one. The third question about the other ones, yes, the other ones are just secondary. If anybody wants to, you know, but the beauty about the Raspberry is because if there's no computer, this Raspberry could be used as at the resource center for the entire school. One tiny Raspberry Pi, which you put in a pocket, is a full-fledged computer, which would be good because even you could connect Raspberry to the Rachel as well. So that's the beauty. That's the beauty about Rachel, and it could teach, you know, people could do even word processing work on this small, but it's not necessary. So the other one is separate. The two others are separate from the Rachel. Did I answer your question?
Thank you. Yeah, very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bye. Thank you very much, Khaled and Siddiqui. And so I can to Rono to ask his question or give his comment. Over to you, Moses.
Thank you, Gideon, and thank you, Siddiqui. You have actually answered one of my questions, which was more of the strength of the Wi-Fi signal. The other question is more related to Khalid on content, and I was wondering if you have about 1,000 schools in northern Kenya, and KCD want to use this device. Do you have a central way of be able to update the content remotely if the schools were able to connect to the internet or to a network, so that we have a central content management system and the organization like KCD can be able to push information directly to the schools?
Oh yes, you could, yeah, you could update. You just connect it to the internet to update. Yes, you can do that. So you could put, you could put, you know, all your material on it, which would be really the great thing. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Moses, and thank you, Siddiqui. I also have a question, or does anybody else have a question?
Well, I see two hands. I see two hands up. Eh?
Yes, I think that was the two people, the two gentlemen who had previously asked questions. Maybe you can put your hands down, so at least we don't get. Yes, thank you very much. Siddiqui, my question is about the Raspberry for teaching children on programming skills. Do you have a specific age gap, or it's for all, from children from age 3 to maybe age 70? Maybe if you could let us know on the target age group.
Well, good question, Gideon. The Raspberry Pi, it's, you know, it's teach computer skill, computer science and programming, you know, to people. here in Washington, I have adults using this to learn. So it was primarily intended for young people between 12 to 13. But now even adult could use this because I think this should be really used by universities, by communities, because it has incredible skills for programming. I would say the age group could go up. I do know some adults learning using this here in the US to learn it. So it could go for all ages, but usually, primaries and secondary school, they like it because it really has improved tremendously their programming skills. They've been able to do things like camera, use things like a home server solution with this one, like video surveillance, pet feeders, control drones. So the good thing about Raspberry, you could use it to control drones. So it's a very powerful device.
Thank you very much. Going back to the unit cost, as Anne mentioned before she left, what would be the unit cost to have maybe a fully fledged local, as you are putting it, as a local cloud, or what is the unit cost for the solution, at least to say that we have a local solution for people in remote areas from your presentation?
Well, from my presentation, you know already the unit cost of Rachel. We've sold. The unit you guys bought was almost $640, right, per unit cost for the Rachel, for the digital library. Yeah. Yeah.
How about the whole kit, or what you can
for
recommend?
the whole kit? Yeah, you remember when I did the presentation with you, I had, there was the solar panel with the battery and the TV and the entire, so I told you that, the solar panel itself, which you could carry and put on yourself, which I presented, it's still there in Nairobi. The solar panel and the kit, I think it was about 1,200 US. So the solar panel itself, with a TV as well. But if you guys don't need the TV, you don't need, so if we were to, give you the package, the Raspberry Pi, the problem with the Raspberry Pi, you just buy it, but it's plain. You need to buy some additional like cable, SD cards, and the case. So the Raspberry Pi would go between 100 and 200 if you have to add everything in it. So you have the Rachel, which is almost less than 700. The Raspberry Pi, between 100 and 200. And the Kodi, the same thing. So if you don't need the Kodi, so I would say basically, the technology center, if you include the solar panel, it would be 1,000, 2,000, between 2,200. If you don't need the TV and the solar panel, it would be less.
Okay, thank you very much for clarifying that. If we don't have any other question, we can move to the next presenter, Nina from Elimu. Over to you, Nina.
I'm going to just share my screen and see if I can get up. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about from the programming aspect as I give you kind of the larger concept of what our resource center. So we are sitting here in a physical building that is called the Ilimu Resource Center. And our solution began in 2016. And in the beginning, it was how do we provide access to digital tools to the community in a way that they would come into our digital libraries, get their hands on Kindles, which is what we use to provide textbooks and storybooks. And then in the library, we started off by working with Rachel to provide Khan Academy, Africa Storybook Project, and those other offline open source resources. One of the channels of Rachel nowadays is called Colibri, and we have actually taken the move to put aside Rachel and work with Colibri as the educational, the technical education platform that now manages the content. And one of the main reasons that we did that was for the back-end tracking. So Colibri will allows a teacher to set up, or a coach, so it could be a teacher, it could be any kind of trainer, to set up a classroom and register the students of that classroom, and then follow the individual performance, track the usage, the content, their success in completing the various content, and then identify weaknesses, figure out why they're not completing, figure out those ones that are moving faster, which are the slow learners. And so we moved into Colibri on a tablet or on a laptop, and that's kind of the main focus of our digital content management program at the moment. But let me just give you a quick background. Ilimu, we're a Canadian charitable organization. We've been working in Kenya since about 2005. We've come from the very grassroots, so we're down here working with kids and students. This is how it all began, by taking 2 kids to school. In the beginning, we were focused more on getting kids into school, paying school fees, sort of opening up that access to education. And by 2014, we had focused on 4 particular projects that were about sponsoring girls to a sewing program, sponsoring kids to stay in school, a small home for children that they're mostly grown up now, we're phasing that out. And we had assisted a school in a rural area to build a proper facility, and we continue to work with that school with our reading program, our digital reading program, but we don't manage that. In 2016, we moved into offering this digital education resource center. The first one in 2016 was just a 1-room facility, and the reason we moved to this was because we realized that from the children in our programs, the biggest issue that they were having was access to resources. So we could put uniforms on their little bodies, we could give them school fees and get them into school, but teachers aren't showing up regularly. They didn't necessarily have a proper place to sit in the classroom. They didn't have all their textbooks. And so we started looking at how we could solve that. And once we brought digital technology into the picture, we realized that we could actually take this beyond just our beneficiaries, but also into the community. So that's how the Resource Center began. And in 2018, we moved to the facility that I am now sitting in as we speak. It's a 4-story building with its own private compound. We can now host our digital libraries for both primary schools and high schools, so they each have their own space to work from. We have what we call our e-hub room, which is what used to be just the computer lab. Upstairs, the top floor is a big open space that we can host seminars, trainings, courses, and we also rent that space out as a conference hall, so it becomes an income generator for us. We were opened by the Canadian High Commissioner in 2018 and the County Governor. Sorry, I'd like to throw that slide in. I forgot it was there. So we've kind of moved our focus, with all of that, we moved our focus from just access to education to also enhancing digital literacy in the community. So where we're based in Malindi, we're pretty well a semi-urban location. A lot of the same challenges that you people are finding in the very remote locations that you work in. Very unstable internet, very unstable electricity, schools that are minimally electrified or not electrified, and children living in pretty impoverished rural kind of environments. So one of the first things that we did, obviously the students can come to the center when they are not in school, which is not all that much time in Kenya. So our biggest peak periods are the school holidays and the weekends. So during the weekdays, we immediately started taking our digital tools into the classrooms. And as Siddiqui was saying, that's one of the joys, is that with 35 or 50 Kindles, and a suitcase, you've taken an entire library with about 7,000 books into a classroom. Because the literacy levels are so low in Kilifi County, 60%, we started quickly focusing on just reading skills, getting kids reading in front of their peers, as well as providing the textbooks. So one of the other elements that we have in our kit is the World Reader Kindle. World Reader's based out of the United States. They work with the publishing industry in Africa to digitize books. And we are one of the, in fact, maybe the only partner that focused on textbooks on our Kindles. So we have the textbooks from class 4 up to form 4, as well as ordinary storybooks, novels, reading material. We are also able to take our digital reading program into more vulnerable communities. The main program works in the public schools here in Malindi, and in a few private schools, and that Upendo Nursery School, the Upendo primary school that we helped to build. This is a program that we take into the prisons, the Junior Remand Center, and into a rescue center for girls. Where some of those cases, they didn't even have paper exercise books or pens, much less any other type of reading resources. In Mutangani prison, we've helped in the last 4 years, in the first year 7 men, in the second year 11, last year 12 men to pass their KCSE exams and to actually continue to high school. So from those early beginnings is how we got into an e-learning program for classrooms. What we did in the beginning was this team would go into the schools and manage the program, run it, work with the kids, and kind of had the teacher off to the side. And we realized over time that that was not the correct approach. And so we started working more closely with the teachers. And when we got started working with Kolibri in 2018, that really brought in the solution for the teachers. So a teacher can go into Kolibri, they can use the existing content, which does include Khan Academy, it includes Africa Storybook Project, it includes quite a number of it's open source software, so similar to what's already on the Rachel device. And again, they can also create and load up their own content, and it can be video content, it can be PDFs. We can digitize their exams to be interactive so that you can click the answers and be told if you're right or wrong and get the right answer. And it uses the existing government-issued tablets. So Kolibri is the software. You go online to download the software onto your computer or your tablet. But then you don't need the internet again. So internet is used for updating and for uploading, but in the classroom working with the clients, it's all on an intranet offline basis. So the package includes a laptop, 2 or 3 routers, depending on the number of tablets that you're working with. We tend to work with 20 tablets in a classroom, and you can also hook it up to a projector and have a more traditional group learning setting. So the teachers in Malindi have been very, very positive about the fact that we're finally giving them something to do with those government-issued tablets, which they've had basically sitting in cupboards in their classrooms. So that's, we did the teacher training in August of 2019, and we launched into the classrooms this year in January. Unfortunately, schools have since been shut down, and so we really just got started. The goal with Kolibri and the preferred approach, I think, is that we're now empowering the teachers to manage this in the classroom. They would maintain these devices full-time in the classroom instead of waiting for us to come in once a week or however many times it would be. It's a full-time ongoing process for them. So this moves away a little bit from the digital side of things, but what else we do here with the Elimu Resource Center, again, engaging with the children that come. We watch them as they get to high school. Again, lack of access to resources where we are based. So simple things like how to continue their education after high school, how to access the online registration portal of KUCCPS for registering and applying for universities, colleges, and TVETs. There's no service in Malindi to assist them to get that information. How to get hold of Higher Education Loan Board help loans, or even that they exist, is quite limited in Malindi. So we've started bringing youth in for forums at the end of their high school career. We bring them here for a day and we bring in the experts from all of these various services and we spend a day with them. And last year we broke them into discussion groups and actually talked to them about some of their challenges so that we could hear from them, from their own mouths, the things that they're going through and how we can help them. And one of the solutions that we've come up with for that cohort, for the after high school or out of high school youth, is Cisco Networking Academy. So this is a solution to, again, passing on digital skills. They can get training either just for experiencing and exploring their talent and their interest in the world of technology, or even just getting enough skills to be able to start their own business, to hire themselves out as a technician who can do networking of simple networks in an office, come and maintain computers, download and set up software. So we currently have a cohort of 32 young people from the 2019 graduates from Form 4 that have been journeying with us as they continue their Cisco program. Some of them we've been able to continue online, but again, this program is on hold for the moment. And with this program, they do get a Cisco certification at the end, internationally recognized certification at the end of the program. We do, so what we're working towards now, we've been doing this in various ways, and it's all working towards a program that we've been designing. So we would take the cohort of Cisco students, and we offer to them these other activities. We have career talks. We bring in members of the community to talk about their career paths. We do leadership skills programs. We have an internship program for both high school leavers and college and university students. They come to work here for anywhere from 3 to 8 months. And they get an opportunity to actually co-create programming, lead those programs. We've done things like beach cleaning. We've done environmental programs with tree planting. They run our podcasts and get to manage the video equipment. They work with us on social media. And again, it's exploring their skills, it's building their CVs, and also helping them to maybe direct their futures as to what they would like to do career-wise. With the sewing program that we still continue to run, we've also included a digital component now. So the girls come here for entrepreneurship skills and business training, and they learn to work with YouTube videos to enhance the training, and they learn to search fashion designs around the world through the internet. This is the program that got Gideon and I, first of all, connected a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago now. Once the Resource Center had to shut down with the schools, it really broke our hearts, because normally this is where we are the most useful to our students. So they get sent home normally for school holidays, and instead of just languishing away at home, they come to the center. And we would usually have maybe up to 300, sometimes 320 students per day coming through to access the various equipment, the e-readers and the offline services. So we started to look at what can we do to reach those kids now that they're at home. And we have been in discussion with some various partners, including Safaricom, to look at how we could boost the server signal from our center originally into the Malindi area and across Kilifi County, and possibly right across the country. We work with, we've just taken on some new school programs beyond Nairobi, Meru, Nakuru, and Mombasa. So we would like to see if we can reach into those homes as well. Now this does not reach the 100% of the population, but we do feel that it expands those. We have the ones that are capable of reaching, of continuing their education through online services. They can afford the internet, they've got the laptops or the desktops or whatever at home, or they've got the smartphones. And they're able to serve themselves with their home studies. This would hopefully supply a solution to those who can't afford the internet but still have access to a smartphone with the offline solution that would, there's no fees to accessing the content through our server. So this is the program that we're currently right now working on establishing for COVID-19, but it has so much more potential beyond COVID-19 to taking the signal to not just schools in the area, but to any kind of informal learning center, any kind of institution, and back into people's homes. So one thing teachers can actually be doing once they have set up a classroom in school, they can be setting up holiday projects for those kids to do, holiday homework, and send that back to them. The kids go home or they come here to the resource center and they access the server, they see the work that has been set out for them by the teacher, and they go through that work and complete it, and the teacher is actually checking the work that they're doing as they go home, as they go along. So just quickly, our mobile resource program, digital reading program in schools right now is accessing about 300 children per week, which gives us about 8,000 visits a year to them. And our resource center in 2019 had close to 16,000 visits from students over the course of the year. And again, that's mainly from coming in the various school holidays. And this is just a quick introduction to some of our graduates from our programs who are now working, graduated from various high school, from their high school programs. Some have graduated from college and are working, and from our sewing program, several of those women have taken the sewing machine that we give them at the end of their training and have been able to build houses. They're mostly from rural communities, so that little mud house is an example of the house they would build. They built their own workshops. They help take their siblings into schools. So that's what we do with Elimu, and that is the larger concept that I would like to present to you about a digital hub, that it's not just about access to content, but there is training, skills. Our goal with Elimu Resource Center really is to build a learning community for youth, a place where they just feel like this is their space. They come in here, they co-create programming, they become mentors and models to the younger children that are still in primary school and high school, coming in just to use the digital libraries. And I think there's a lot of potential to take those graduates of our programs out into the communities to then, so that's right now what we do. It's our interns that run the digital reading program into the various schools. So they get trained, they've come through the system, they get trained on how to manage Colibri, and then they go in, and in future now they'll be supporting teachers as opposed to actually running the whole program. But we foresee this being a much more mobile-centered effort with a central resource center where those that can access it, that don't have access to anything like electricity or internet or devices at their home, will then be able to come to us to get access to all of those solutions. That's it for me. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Nina, for your presentation. So to anyone who has a question, you can ask. Yes, we have one hand that is up from Khaled. Do you have anybody else? So we can start with Khaled, and the rest can raise their hands. Over to you, Khaled.
Thank you, Gideon. Thank you, Nina, for the wonderful presentation. Just quickly, you talked about like connecting the hubs between cities. I could not follow that part. Could you kindly elaborate a little more? Like you are working with Safaricom to extend the access, something like that?
Yes. Oh,
Thank you.
yes. So the server right now can access, say, a few classrooms with its signal. The current server we use is a laptop. So we'd have to do two things. First of all, we'd have to actually upgrade our server to a proper server device, and or more than one, depending on how far we're taking the signal. But the telecom provider would now access the content, would pull that content from our server and boost it around their devices, around their towers, to as far as they can go. So we've discussed the technicality of that, and I'm sorry, I'm not a software engineer or not the most technical person in the room, but we've discussed it both with our partners at Cisco and with the Safaricom, with the people at Safaricom, and it is the boosting of the system, the boosting of the signal is very much possible, and it's in fact not, it doesn't add any serious costs to anybody to do that.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah.
What it requires is just a more robust server computer that can push that system out. So the big issue is users coming back to the system, as opposed to like the distance of the, rather than the signal, it's more about access, the amount of access. So we would be, instead of just having maybe 60 or 40 kids in a classroom, we're now talking about maybe thousands.
Mm. Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other question? Comment? Yes, Sedu. Yes, I can see your hand up, Sedu. Go ahead.
Okay, all right, thanks. Okay, good. It's not like a question. Well, the question will come at the end, basically. But just to first of all thank both partners, both DEA and Elimu, for their presentation and their continued interest in working with us. I don't have any specific questions at the moment besides the unit cost, which we need to know to be able to plan and move forward very quickly. As you know, we are in some emergency situation, but what we are going to do, what we plan to do is to partners and others is to even go beyond COVID-19. Because if you have this infrastructure in place, these local clouds, if you like, these offline solutions, they would stay and live beyond the COVID-19. So, but having said that, it's being conceived. These partnerships are being conceived and developed to respond to a particular situation at the moment, the COVID-19 pandemic. So the sooner we are able to move forward and begin to deploy these solutions, it will be great. And before we proceed to that, I think it's important to know that we'll be inviting you, just like DEA was invited today, I think, for the Comoros meeting. It's a Francophone country. So I think they were invited. I'm not sure where they had the opportunity to do a presentation, but the time would have been it's like 9:30 East African time. It would have been very late in the night or early in the morning in Washington. However, we should begin to think and see how much it is going to cost, so that we begin to see how we prepare ourselves at the country level as well, how we advise our colleagues to prepare themselves to deploy these solutions. Yeah, so basically that's the main question. But just to thank you all very much for your participation, the colleagues as well as the IT partners, Nina of Elimu and Sidiki of DEA. Thank you very much. So if you have an idea to say so, fine. If not, probably by the time we meet next, we may probably want to have an idea of the cost. Sidiki did mention some costs related to the digital library, which is about 600 something, and Rachel and so on, and the full set 1,000 and so on and so on. Yeah, if we could have this written out and costed, basically it would be very useful. If we have a unit cost to set up one unit resource center, unit, I think that one would be for Nina and Elimu. What would it cost to have one resource center, one local cloud, if you like, from which we can boost signals out to the more remote areas. I think I'll stop here for the moment, except other colleagues if they have any word or any question or clarification they may need. Thank you very much. Over to you, Gideon.
Thank you very much, Seydou. Maybe in regards to that, I've received an indicative budget from Elimu. Also, maybe after this meeting, I'll follow up with both of them to give us now the costs, which we can look at after. So I would like to open this floor to everyone on their thoughts about this meeting and also their comments and on the way forward. So the floor is open. So you can raise your hand or you can come in.
So this is Khaled Gideon. Can I come in?
Yes.
So thank you so much, Mr. Seydou, as well. So question is like, did UNESCO took a kind of a decision, or there's a program going on to roll out these devices as part of COVID response or any other regular UNESCO programs? What's the take? How UNESCO is approaching on this thing? Would like to really want to know. Thank you.
Okay, can I come in, Gideon?
Yes,
On this
I
one
was
to
actually about to ask you to come in. Thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, basically the approach is we interest partners, in particular case here, is digital solutions, and these are offline solutions. And we invite these IT solutions partners to country-level meetings, country-level engagements, which would normally include the government, Minister of Education, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education. Or in the case of Comoros this morning, the Minister of Education was present, but it could be the Permanent Secretaries of Education, of Ministers for ICTs, or connectivity or internet connectivity or that kind of communication, that kind of thing. The resident coordinator of the UN system, the chairperson of the local education group, all UN agencies that are partners, particularly UNICEF, UNHCR, World Food Program, and any other partner at the country level to discuss, to engage and talk about COVID, the national response, the UN support to the national response, and the solutions that are available, which in this case, Elimu, DEA, and any other one would present that these are the solutions we have for this kind of situation. So we are available. So in terms of financing these are going to be built into the national response, just like the other 4 countries we have done. Uganda, we had the Uganda Comoros today. I think we have done Madagascar yesterday. We've done 4 of them anyway. So the cost would be built into the response of the or the UN response. So, you know, there are UN appeals, flash appeals, there's GPE funds, there are other sources of funding, all mobilized to fund the national responses to COVID-19. So it is critical that our responses, as we have done in other countries, is to build the responses and these solutions partners who will provide the solutions into the costing and the total budget of the response. So after the engagement with all these stakeholders from the government right through to the UN system and the other partners, and the IT solutions partners, an implementation plan, the response plan would have been developed already, built in there, and an implementation plan of this component would be developed, and then our focal points who are here, all right, will be following with the country and the IT partner to ensure that the implementation takes place and is monitored. So that's basically how we fit into this whole thing. Over.
Thank you.
Thank you, Seydou, for that. I think Khaled, also to add to what Seydou is saying, we are looking at the different ways we can have a balanced and dual approach, since we don't have a level ground in terms of geographically, and also even as you go to a particular country, there are some places where you have internet connectivity, you don't have devices. There are some places where there is no internet connectivity at all. And this particular meeting is to look at different ways we can reach the farthest, the ones who are the farthest left behind. So we, to answer your question, we have not pinpointed specific companies or other organizations, but we are looking at different organizations on whom to bring together to come up with a dual solution. So when, for example, if you're working in an urban area using e-learning solutions, we're also going to very rural areas with at least solutions that are replicated to what is in the urban, so that are regularly updated, but they don't necessarily have access to internet connectivity. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much. Just a quick complimentary one, if I may. Like it's very clear now. So this sort of consultation, did it take place for Kenya or still on the horizon?
Yes, at the moment we're talking about Kenya, but it is open for replication. But I'll still let Seydou to give us the overall, the broader vision of this. Over to you, Seydou.
Thank you, Gideon. I think in response to the joiner to the earlier question for Kenya, I think Virginia, who is a national focal point for Kenya, is engaging the Ministry of ICT, the Ministry of Education, to see when we can have a meeting date for partner engagement, or we call them country level partners meeting. All right, we are organizing one for Kenya. Virginia, how far have we gone? What's the situation at the moment? Virginia, that's my colleague who is just, if she's available, I think I've seen her here. She can say just something. Maybe I'm update on where we are for Kenya. In fact, they are pressing us to do Kenya because we are resident. We are headquartered in Kenya, but we've done South Sudan, we've done Madagascar, we've done Comoros, and we've done Uganda. All the categories of partners and stakeholders present in those national country level consultations. At least the first one, to look at the situation, agree what to do, and the solutions that are available. So Kenya is the next one, and I believe it shouldn't be too long. Maybe by next week we would have had a slot to meet the PSC. The PS is in education, the PS in ICT ministry, and the RC here, of course, and our colleagues, as well as other partners, UNICEF, major partner, UNHCR, another major partner for us working in Kenya. So Virginia, do you have an update on where we are with regards to the Kenya country engagement with partners and government? Over to you, Virginia.
We still do not have a date, but probably by Friday we will be having a date, and it might be next week, as you've said. Well, we are waiting for feedback from the education counterparts.
Okay, what about the Ministry of ICTs?
They already responded. They are on standby. So it is dependent on the feedback we receive from the MOE.
Okay, that is part of the feedback, isn't it? Part of the update. Now I think we should also be contacting the RC office. The RC, he has to be present, and then of course our UNICEF, just formally let them know that this, when we have the date, we communicate to the other partners and the other stakeholders. Thank you very much, Virginia. Okay, over to you, Gideon. I hope what was the person who asked the question? I hope this answers part of the question or the whole question. Thank you.
Yeah, this is Khalid from UNICEF. Yes, thank you, Mr. Saidu.
Okay, thank you, Saidu. Thank you, Khalid. Anybody else who has a last comment as we conclude?
I would just like to thank you for.
I have a question, Gideon.
Okay, so we have Nina, then Virginia, then Khalid.
Actually, my question is to Nina.
Okay, so before Nina, you come in, so Virginia can ask a question, then you'll answer and give your comment. Over to you, Virginia.
Thank you, Gideon, and thanks a lot for the presenters and for sharing. I'm just interested to know from Nina. I know from a previous discussion you had said you are looking into expanding. If you have, if you can share with us the list of the locations that you foresee the expansion, so that we can see amongst the ASAL counties or ASAL regions where there is no reach, where the focus could be. Thanks.
Yes, we're working with another Canadian nonprofit called Chalice, who has school-based and agriculture programs in various parts of north of Nairobi. So they're in places like Gilgil, Saidia, Mikinduri, Meru, and Mombasa and Changamwe. So I can share that list with you, Gideon, as well as where we are here now in Malindi.
Okay, so I look forward to that, and I'll also share with Virginia and other colleagues. So for your comment, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Gideon, for organizing this meeting and for giving us this opportunity. I think that we are certainly very excited about the potential, and we do see that what you're trying to do to bring in all the different types of approaches that are going to address the different types of access challenges that are there. It's the right approach, and I think you guys obviously have the reach to bring us all together. So we appreciate that you're there doing that for us, and thank you very much. And nice to meet all of you today.
Thank you very much, Nina. Khalid, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, Gideon. This is not completely related, not completely unrelated, but I'm taking this opportunity. So it's basically for Gideon and Saidu Jalo. I think we need to meet with especially Saidu's counterpart Avian in UNICEF on the accessible digital textbook. I don't know whether we can have a slot next week. And sorry again, colleagues, for taking this opportunity. I know we are all busy, so yeah. So Gideon and Saidu, what do you think?
Yeah, over. we can meet next week. Gideon, let's get Gideon and one of your guys to liaise. I would just say that Gideon would liaise with Andrew. Andrew who is in this meeting to look at the date, suitable slot next week, and Gideon will communicate that to us.
Chief Jalo, I think
yes,
what Khalid is referring to is for the meeting with the Kenya once it's confirmed. I think that's what Khalid is referring to.
No.
This is a totally different one, Andrew.
It's a different. It's the digital
textbook.
Digital textbooks for people with a disability, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's part of the inclusion equity stuff. So yeah, we can meet next week. Gideon will engage you, Andrew, to look at a free slot from the usual schedule. You do for Anne, you look at Anne's schedule and then slot me in there, where I will not be attending Anne's meeting at the same time I'm paying this one, and this one as well, and that one as well, the digital textbooks. Yes. But yes, let's look at it next week. Maybe next week should be good. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Khalid.
Gideon, is Siddiqui around to make maybe just say one final word or so before you close?
Yes, Siddiqui is here.
Okay.
So Siddiqui, the floor is yours. let me unmute you, Siddiqui. Oh, you already unmuted. Okay, go ahead.
It's muted. Gideon, Siddiqui is still muted.
Andrew, Andrew, could you please assist from your side?
Okay. All right, no problem. Since we cannot get him, you can proceed to just close. I'm sure we'll be meeting another time. When next do we meet, Gideon? Or you will work it out and let us know, right?
Okay.
Yes. Oh, Siddiqui is back.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Siddiqui, just a last word before we conclude, before we close. Just a last word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Seydou, Gideon, and the whole UNESCO. Seydou, I just wanted to say something about the Comoros meeting. I think there was a miscommunication because I sent a PowerPoint in French, and I didn't know there was another meeting in Comoros. So that was a misunderstanding. But it was early anyway in Washington, D.C. I would have attended anyway, but that was unfortunate. But next time I would attend.
Yes,
just a final word about what you said, Seydou, about even thinking about after the COVID-19. I think we sent you the Technology Innovation Center overview and how to deploy it, which would really be even we thought about even sustainability and help these people, to be self-sustainable. So if you look at our project, I think our project is very well explained, and we really looking forward to working with you and making more resources available. So thank you very much for making us part of this project.
You're welcome, Siddiqui. Over to you, Gideon.
Okay, thank you very much, Siddiqui, for your remarks. Maybe my last comment to the presenters, please share with us all your resource materials. I think, Nina, from your side, I don't know if you had a PowerPoint presentation. I wasn't able to see it on my side. Also, if you have that, please share with us so that I can share with all the other members in this meeting.
I'll do that.
And also, I'll follow up with both of you on the side on the budget implications. I have something from Elimo, and also I'll follow up with DE Africa. So I think with no other comment, with the powers I have at this moment, I would like to adjourn this meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank
you. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye, Nina.
Okay, bye.